Come to me, my prey.
Alrighty, let's talk Zerg.
As I speak this, it is September 2023, but I did actually make this in October last year. I can't remember why I decided to make this in particular, but here we are. Zerg. So there is likely to be a few inconsistent details which I cannot remember. Anywho, it started off with research, collecting images and watching clips slowed down. As it was just a Halloween costume for work, it didn't need to be 100% accurate, but it did need to be recognisable and, most importantly, cheap and fairly quick. I started by dissecting the elements for easy to acquire materials, knowing I could steal a decent amount of cardboard from work deliveries.
I definitely bought too much fabric. 5 meters of each. We've got purple, we've got red, and we've got black. 15 meters of fabric, which I think is way too much. I panicked. Also, this mesh fabric. So I was thinking for the mouth, so I can see through it.
And his name is John C.
But you might not be able to see my face properly. I don't know what else to make with it afterwards. Maybe I'll make a PE kit. And then one final thing I bought was fabric glue. My sewing machine is currently broken. I gave up in the end, let's just be frank. Pringles. For the blaster thing, I got an arrangement of flavours. One more thing I almost forgot about was the tube thing going to his backpack. Looks like a vacuum hose, and incidentally there is a vacuum in the loft that doesn't work, so I'm going to steal that and use it.
Wow.
Right then, so the first thing I'm going to do is attempt to do the mask head thing. I don't want to do any papier-mâché. I think just a straight up cardboard then painted will be the best way. I can't figure out what the flat shape of it is going to be, if it's going to be like a cone without the point, a cone shape without the point on top. Back of the head needs to go up further, needs to be at an angle, so I can stick this flat piece on top. And then the ears, horns. But how do I make this base shape? That is essentially the shape I need. Oh, is it? Not really. Okay, we are running low on time. Maybe it won't be tapered. Maybe it will just be an oblong head. Alright, I've had a Pringle break, and I think I know, what I'm going to try next. I can see, just about. Not perfectly clearly. Can you see my face? I hope not. Alright, so it is a new day. I kind of gave up last night. I was getting really stressed out. I still don't like the shape of it. I don't know if I'm going to have time to fix it. Apparently my eyes are allergic to the makeup I use now. They're really puffy. I can see my eyelids covering up my vision, so it's not a great start for me. But anyway, I'm going to disregard the helmet, hat, mask thing for a bit and just get started on the gun. My eye's really itchy. Okay, no touchy.
No touchy.
But at least if this happens on Monday, then my whole face will be covered and I will not have to take it off. Anyway, I'm very stressed. It is now Wednesday. I need this to be done in its entirety for Saturday.
Not really much to say here about Zerg's rucksack shooter thing. I cut out some circles using a massive pot I have, and yes, it did have a plant in it, which means at this point there was soil all over my living room floor, and just made the 2 circles into a 3D circle and then cut a hole in it for the hose. I used my water bottle for another circle template for the decorative circle bits and glued it all together. But now I needed the Pringles cans, so...
It'll help you better prepare storing foods for the up-and-coming monsoon months. Also, Tupperware products are ideal for storing leftovers to help stretch your food dollar.
So it took about 45 minutes to assemble this bad boy. There's still some detail on the thing, but I'll just paint that on. The tube fits in quite nicely, although I think it's a bit long. I'm just going to perhaps wrap it around in here so I don't have to actually physically cut it. Excuse me. I'm going to start on the actual
I take my gun and I go pew pew pew.
shooty pew pew bit.
And we're back into time-lapse mode again, not really doing very interesting or noteworthy things, so let's push through. Again, more templates with circular objects around me. My embroidery hoops now have Sharpie marks permanently drawn on them. I layered up some circular bits to make it thicker, and I used the inner tube of a roll of transfer paper for the holdy bit. I created a little 3D semicircle to hold the end of the tube, using the part of the vacuum that looks a bit futuristic like that, and I just glued everything together. I also added the little wire iron sight thing that he has, a very budget version though.
I've more or less got my backpack, and my gun. I'm actually going to re-tackle the head.
Zerg.
I don't like it. I think it definitely could be better, but I think I'm going to need to papier-mâché. Let's see what we can do.
A completely different method for this time around now, but I'm not sure if it was better than the straight head, to be honest. Basically, I decided that I was going to papier-mâché this whole thing. I made cardboard strips to layer up the head that gradually narrows to the top. However, you can see that is not straight or even in the slightest. But I carried on nonetheless, and I sacrificed the first attempt for parts, so there was no going back.
That'll do, pig. That'll do.
Here we are. It's a little bit wonky, but I think I'm going to live with it because this is a one-day wear kind of thing. Yeah, I've ripped this off the old version. It's gonna plonk on there. I have one magazine that will hopefully be enough, but I think I'm going to set up in the living room so I can do this while watching Netflix.
There's not really much to say about watching me papier-mâché. All I can say is I can't remember what I watched at this point, but I do remember that I didn't really enjoy it, so I wasn't really watching, so it got done a lot quicker than if I had picked something absolutely riveting.
Good morning. It is... oh my god, it's Thursday. Last night I did another coat of this in another direction actually. Let's see. Okay, it's stuck to the stool. It's pretty sturdy actually. I think I'm going to do one more coat of this and hopefully as smooth as possible, even though it's going to stay a lumpy boy no matter what. I'm going to start the clothing and hopefully finish the clothing, but let's be real, this is me. Oh god, my glasses are on the floor, that's not good. This is George. Let's first undress George. Sorry if that was a little too steamy for you. Let's start with the easy. I think let's start with the cape. Oh, also, while I'm here, I did find some spray paint that might help. First being grey, the shooters. We have a purple. For some reason it's probably gonna be too light, but... and we also have brown. Don't know why. It might have been like copper. It just says brown.
I bought 5 meters of black fabric and 5 meters of red fabric for the cape. Why did I think I'd need that much? I am not even 2 meters tall. Because my sewing machine was still out of action, I glued the top of each fabric with the fabric glue I got. It was actually pretty sturdy. Again, with 5 meters of purple fabric, I tried to drape an appropriate garment. I gave up pretty quickly and essentially just made a toga.
Right, so it's been, oh my god. Right, I've lost a pin. Doesn't matter. Anyway, so it's been about an hour and a half and I have a toga. My thinking is to do the simplest thing physically possible, and then I'll just have a waistband to make it look
Toy.
I'm really hot. So if I literally just do this, and if I have this here, then that should be okay. I don't think I'll do any hemming, to be completely honest. Cut and rip, you know. I've got to loosen this neck a little bit. Wait, that was the cape actually. I'm fine. Do you see the vision? You know, it will look a little bit messy, but also I am going to have to move around because this is going to be a work costume. I'm actually going to have to do some work which requires movement. Zerg-esque. As long as it's recognisable, I don't need it to be a 100% perfect. I've already failed on that with the mask. It's fine. I'm probably hand sew the size, to be honest. Don't want to, but at least I can watch Netflix at the same time. I think that's all I've got to say, to be honest. I'm very hot. Alright, so I've decided to experiment with something here now. I'm just going to see if it neatens up the edges or not. Oh, okay. I mean, that's kind of it. Ignore that. To be fair, that ain't too shabby. Fire solves everything. Ooh.
Here's a time lapse of me sewing with absolutely nothing in frame.
Well, that was a good couple of hours of boring. Really don't want to do that again. Oh my god, now I'm confused. Okay, neck roll. Oh, jeez. I'm so confused. Did I sew it the wrong? I did. I'm an idiot. Okay, I'll be right back. Take 2. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. Yes, I think this will do nicely. I feel like a professor. Turn to page 394. Hold that for a sec. Whoa, there's just a pin in this. God, I'm a danger to society. I need a belt.
Belt.
Now, the audience are in, so
How do I look? Divine.
thank you very much.
I think we're getting somewhere. I need to do the belt. I need to do the little circular attachy thing. How am I going to do that? Do I have any supplies? Do I even need to glue the sides? Can I be bothered to glue the sides together? I don't think I can. And in the future, I'll be able to save this fabric. All I need to bin is the glued bit. So I've got all this fabric for future projects. See, eco-friendly. I'm thinking for the future. I thought I had black gloves, but I don't. Might work. A little D-ring and a clip thing. I'm going to attach this onto here so I can do this at the back. I know it's not professional, not great, but it's all I have to work with that I'm willing to work with. Hand sew it, obviously. Also cut a bit more black fabric, and I'm going to gather the edges and a little disc with the Z. Is it a Z? I think it's a Z. Yeah. So I messed it up a little bit. I was trying to save cardboard. I think it's going to make it worse for myself. Well, actually, it might just work. So I'm going to cut this out now when it's still soggy. It's lovely, isn't it? Ah, there's little cardboard shoulder pads. Ah! Oh, there's so much left to do. Okay, one thing at a time. Actually, I'm going to write this. This is a lot still. I thought I was nearly done. Yeah. Good morning. It is Friday. I'm really hoping to be done by today. Let's see if that actually happens. I did a lot last night. I did all of this section except tidy up. I do need to tidy up. So today it is essentially just painting and attaching the last final bits. None of this is my best work, my neatest work, but I'm on a time budget. It is 2 minutes past 9. I do need to go to the shops today because I need to take things out of the freezer. Right, the sausages are defrosting. So I'm hoping to be done by today. Everything will dry overnight, and then tomorrow I can film the final reveal, as the YouTubers like to say. Oh, I've got to add one more thing to the list actually. Burn the edges. I haven't done that yet. Let's go for it. So I've set up a little paint station with one newspaper and scrap cardboard. Let's start with something small. Oh my god. Hello? Hello? Thank you.
The design is very human.